And I am Christine Dean, and this is live from Studio A. And welcoming Breanne Marie and the Front Porch Sinners on the date, their release day for their latest album, Two Trees. Happy release day to you.
Thank you. It's a fun day.
It is. Thank you so much for coming in. And you have a show tomorrow night at Sir Ben's, 8 p.m., and then the Yashers are going to be playing after you all, right?
That's right.
So tomorrow night, Sir Ben's is the release show. I promise they will fit on the stage.
We'll make it work.
They will make it work, and it will be a fantastic time. Well, do you want to do the honors and introduce the rest of the band, Breanne?
Yes, I love this band so much. Okay, are you ready? There's a lot of us in here. Right over here, we have Kaylin Pellerin on fiddle. Behind Kaylin, we have Tarek Mackey on bass. Directly behind me, we have Matt Groom on drums. And in this corner, we got Evan Tepler on guitar and Johnny Blaze on the pedal steel right next to me.
All right. Well, let's see what this crew can do. What do you want to start with?
We're going to start off with Bend, first song of the album. How about first song of our show here?
Perfect.
All right, here we go. Just shy of 17, I was rushing out after school to take a test in an office with some self-righteous volunteer. My life changed in a blink, tears fill my eyes. Everything I knew was true, I could not deny. I'm gonna bend, but I won't break. Whatever it takes, I'm gonna make it to a day when all this pain and all I've sacrificed is worth it. Oh, I'm gonna bend. Months later in a hospital bed, it's almost time. Friends and family gather round until the baby arrives. Full-time work, full-time school, full-time mom. Days are long, the years are short, and on and on and on. I'm gonna bend, but I won't break. Whatever it takes, I'm gonna make it to a day when all this pain and all sacrifice is worth it. I'm gonna bend. Well, I was ready for the work, not prepared for the loneliness. Ooh, I wasn't who I am right now. 'Cause fighting for your love will set you free. I'm gonna bend, but I won't break. Whatever it takes, I'm gonna make it to a day when all this pain and all I've sacrificed was worth it. Oh, I'm gonna bend. Years later, she's 26. Ain't nothing we can't fix. Still worry all the time, but we have survived and we're thriving.
That is Breanne Marie and the Front Porch Sinners, and the song that opens their new album, Two Trees. And I really like that song, Breanne, because it's your story, and it talks about struggle, but it's kind of a triumphant song because you got through all that stuff. You did that.
Absolutely. Yeah, when I was a teen parent in the 90s, there was a big, I don't know, it was just known that you were a statistic. People labeled you as, oh, you're another one of those, you're a statistic. And so when I wrote this song, I thought, how can I go back to those people, those voices that were in my head, what society was saying, and say, no, I'm good. I'm good now.
And the line in there that really strikes me is full-time mom, full-time school, full-time, I don't know if I'm getting them in the right order, but full-time work. Is that, you really did that?
I did.
How did you do that?
Yeah. Well, I was at UMD here and I napped in a lot of places at UMD. I got kicked out of, was it MPAC? I think I was napping when they were given a tour. And they said, you can't sleep here. I said, I can sleep where I want. I'm tired. Yeah, it was full time. I did have a lot of help from friends and family. And, you just put one foot in front of you don't think about how you did it while you're doing it. You just do it.
Yeah. Well, and you are thriving now, and it's so fun to see. And so congratulations.
Thank you.
On how that all turned out so well. So Two Trees, I have the impression that you've been kind of working on the album for a while. And Jillian Rae, Twin Cities musician, is the producer of the album. And so tell me how, at what point in the process Jillian got involved.
Yeah, so I did pre-production on the last album for Juniper, and I worked with Vicki Emerson in the cities, and I knew I would do pre-pro again. Vicki is not doing music anymore, and I was starting to fall in love with Jillian because once you know her, you fall in love with her. And I reached out to her, and she said yes, and then we had such a good time on pre-production that we decided to take that into the whole process with the band. So she and I worked together on arrangements and the songs, which ones to choose. Were they going to be fast or slow? Were some of them going to be both? And then we took them to the band for rehearsals, and then she worked out things even through that process and into the studio and after.
Is that what you're calling pre-production? Is when you she listens and she gives you advice and helps make those. Oh, that's very cool.
I send her my cringy demos of me on my couch fumbling through a song, and then she sends it back, this new unicorn magic beautiful piece, sometimes on a different instrument than what I sent her, so that I can hear it in different sounds, and she'll sing it differently just to give me ideas on how I might want to sing it. And then I rewrite the lead sheet before we take it to the band. That's the pre-production. The production's once we have the whole band rehearsing and go into the studio.
Okay. Well, that's very cool. And have you had these songs for a while?
Yeah, I started writing this batch of songs back in either 21 or 22, because what was time then, post-pandemic, right? It was pandemic times, and I was in a songwriting group, and I was getting a new word every week, and we wrote new songs every week, and this batch of songs is mostly from that.
Oh, that's very cool. And one thing about that is there's a lot of personal stuff in there, but you also are getting more likely to write songs that are more stories, not necessarily about you. Maybe they have some of you in there, but and there's my understanding is there's 3 songs on the album that are kind of go together in that way.
Yeah, I wrote a trilogy of fictional characters over 3 different generations. There's so much backstory to this. I probably could write a novel, but I just needed to see it all pulled together. The listener for these songs probably doesn't need all the backstory, but maybe that'll become something someday. I started writing about characters because when you're in a songwriting group, you have a new word. You have 7 days to get a song posted on Facebook, or you feel like you failed the assignment that week and everybody in the class knows you failed. So I was really pushing myself to just write about anything and everything. There's some really goofy, what we call throwaway songs, but you just have to get something done by Sunday and post it for the group.
Well, and it seems like you're in a group of people who are doing the exact same thing, so it's probably a safe space. And maybe you get used to okay, this is my silly song that probably won't go anywhere, but I'm sharing it, so that maybe helps you be braver.
Yeah, you watch enough people post. You're always a long-time listener, first-time poster, right? I watched a lot of people post and watched them laugh through. You can't be embarrassed, otherwise you just wouldn't survive in the group. You have to be able to laugh at yourself and create songs that might end up on on the floor. Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about those songs and kind of the story. Like, do they all connect together as far as a story?
Yeah, so the 3 songs are trilogy. Ida May is the beginning of the story in 1927. That leads into Under the Grove, which is further on in the family. Years later, police chase happens in southern Minnesota, and then it ends in present day with that same family, and that is Two Trees, the title track.
Mm-hmm. And what was the prompt that got you off in those directions?
I know what all the prompts are for every song. And it's so funny when we start releasing songs and our group will share with each other, hey, remember that shelf prompt? Here's my new music video for that song. Yeah, it's fun to do that. The first prompt for Ida May was the word require. And I looked up the word requisite. And I was also binging on a murder ballad podcast. And so Ida May is a murder ballad about a requisite amount for a bastardy bond from back in 1927. And then the second song, Under the Grove, was a photo of a dilapidated farmhouse with all overgrown. And I was driving through southern Minnesota to take my kid to a concert. And so that's how that song happened, a police chase in southern Minnesota. And let's see, Two Trees, the prompt was slump. And I was looking right outside we call it the drum window, where Matt's drum kit sits at our house. And I was looking out the window, and there's a dead tree leaning against a healthy tree, and it was slumped. So that's where the album, the title track, everything kind of came together, just looking out my window and having this one word, slump.
And what did that come to me? I think I heard you're going to play that song a little bit later, but what did that come to mean to you, that those two trees?
Yeah, so I usually start off writing a song. If I have to write fast, one of the things that's always top of mind is grief and loss and healing and hope. And so I started there thinking about my grief. And then that turned into maybe what, bringing other people into the fold, which happened in the pandemic, when we were all as a society experiencing grief on such a massive scale. There were people who were like, I've never felt this before. I've never felt this kind of this kind of grief. And I felt like I was, come on, just pull up a chair. I'll show you how this works and how we can get through this. And so Two Trees felt like it started about me, and then it turned into, this is a song for anybody and everybody who's carrying with them that grief and loss, because you can't set it down. It's connected to you.
Yeah, those people that are gone are always going to be with you in some way, but how do you, okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Well, let's hear another song. What do you want to play next?
Let's do Two Trees, since we're talking all
right.
about it. Two trees taller than a building, holding on to each other. One is dead and one of them is living, hunkered down, protected from the weather. trees taller than a building, holding on to each other. One is dead, one of them is living through sunny skies, stormy nights, one after the other.
That is Breanne Marie and the Front Porch Centers live from Studio A, and the title track from their Two Trees album, which comes out today. And we mentioned the Ida Mae song, and I love that you had Sea Silence, a local hop artist, do a bit on that one, because it's really fun. I feel like your roots are kind of in country music, and what you do is Americana, kind of country, but you're not afraid to mix it up. I love that.
Yeah, I'm also a teen from the 90s, and I don't know if you remember 90s country and hip hop. That was a thing. We would, what was that, BMG music, or you'd lick the stamps and you selected, I don't know, and you sent off the thing and then you got a bunch of CDs, right? I remember there was almost half country, even like the Chipmunks country CD, and then the other almost half was hip hop, and then there was maybe 5% left from my mom for like Michael Bolton, Celine Dion, that kind of stuff, right? We gave her a few of the stamps. But I mean, really, we loved country music as much as we loved hip hop in our house. And I had seen Chad Sea Silence around town at Homegrown, and he was so good at melding in and enhancing a song when it was a totally different genre, and he could just freestyle. And so he freestyled at Homegrown with us on Ida Mae. And I asked him, could you please come into the studio? And when he came into the studio, he had so many bars. And we were like, oh no, we didn't track that many bars, but we love everything you're saying. Hold on. And we had to sit there and restitch the song a little bit and make it longer, because I was not going to throw away a single lyric that he had. It was so good, Christine. It was just such a good match for what I was feeling about this character, Ida Mae. He said what I didn't even know I needed to say.
Well, and I know that the first time I heard the song was at Homegrown, probably, and I loved it when Chad just jumps up there on stage and starts doing his thing, and it was so much fun. And it's I think there's so much kind of segregation of music sometimes, it seems like, and people are like, well, if you like that, you can't like that. And so I love that you're hey, no, they're both legit, and we're going to put them in a song.
Yes, it would not be the same without him. I like how you said eject out of the crowd. Chad's like a wrestler. You're hanging out, you're at the match or whatever, and all of a sudden, pow, he comes out of the corner. He jumps up onto, and he's a tall guy.
He is
right?
a tall guy, yeah. And I think it was like Mr. somewhere that had a little bit of a stage. I forget which venue it was, but he had to. It was very dramatic.
And it was Western Wednesday at Dee's, and he had that tall cowboy hat.
It was,
he was like at least another foot taller with that hat.
Yeah. Lots of fun, great homegrown moment that was very memorable for me. And some of the other songs on the album, you just released a video for Shelf. And I think in your post you said, well, I'm not going to play this one live probably because it's a very sad song. And I also want to go back to the last time that you were here. You just reminded me and that you were the first guest that we had after the pandemic shutdowns. We were still kind of doing things safely in separate rooms and stuff, but you were the first one. And you were talking about how you had started learning how to do video because of the pandemic and the shutdowns, and you're like, well, I got to do it myself. So you've carried on with that, apparently.
Yeah, if I had Taylor Swift's budget, I would not be making my own videos. Let's be real. Because it's not my strength. Like, it's, when you cook a meal and you're like, okay, I can follow a recipe, but I'm not having fun. I had fun, though, actually. I made this video with my 10-year-old, Anya, and it was so fun to, I was like, can we just load up some props, go out into a field and get this done? And we started dreaming about the storyboard, and then we got out there that morning. We had all this energy. By the time we were done, I think it was about 2.5, maybe 3 hours later, we were so exhausted and loopy, and just that's one of the photos I posted is us losing our minds, just laughing, because we made it. We survived it. Yeah, if I had all the money in the world, I probably would hire a really cool, and there's so many locally talented videographers. But sometimes a girl's just got to go out and do a field and with an iPhone and a kid and get it done.
Well, and also you two make a great team. Last time we talked to you on the air was at Homegrown when you were in two T's in a pod performing at the Children's Showcase. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, and that song, so that uses some language, I think, from a poem by a local poet.
Yeah, Kyle Lee Hyacinth here in Duluth, who just released a book with Sarah Brocky, Irrevocable Wholeness. Check that out. She has a poem called Dropping Shoes, and she posted it on Facebook at the same time I got the word prompt shelf. Her poem is about how when you go through trauma, especially as a kid, your future behavior then is that you're always waiting for the shoe to drop. Do you ever get really happy and then you're like, well, this ain't gonna last long. I better not get too happy. I better not fly too high. So I took that poem, the word shelf, and put it into a song, and I hope that the music video takes you through those same feelings. I feel like it does, but I don't know. I'm waiting for people to send me like, what did you think of this?
Yeah, well, I think you just released it, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
probably haven't gotten a lot of feedback yet.
Yeah.
And then you have one song on the album, I'm forgetting the name, but there's two different versions of it. Tell me about that one.
Yeah, that's Half Truth. So when I met with Jillian, I said, I have a rocking band. They slay solos. The rhythm section is so tight, so good, so much energy. I want to speed up some of these songs, and I never have a sense for which one should be. So Dashboard Dandelion started off as a ballad that turned into a rock song. Yeah,
that's an upbeat one.
Half Truths, I loved the ballad as much as I loved I call it the trampled version. It's you'll hear it on the album. It's the last song. And I loved both of them for different reasons. And I also think it fits really well as a bookend, the fast version at the end. Because if you can imagine this album as a series of short stories and you get to that last song, it feels like the credits are rolling to me. So that's why we kept both Half Truths, and one is a reprise. They are very different songs, even though it's the same lyrics.
Very cool. Well, what do you want to wrap up with here?
Let's wrap up with Dashboard Dandelion. So yeah, this started off with an acoustic guitar, picking style. Imagine like a Jim Croce vibes, just very sweet. And then Jillian was like, this is going to be your Sheryl Crow song. We're going to rock it out. So let's do, I need to tune real quick though.
Okay. And we are listening to Breanne Marie and the Front Porch Sinners and their brand new album, Two Trees, is due out today. They have a show tomorrow night. Their release show is happening at Sir Ben's, and they will be on stage at 8 o'clock, followed by Yashers. And again, that's tomorrow night at Sir Ben's. Oh, well, let's talk about electric guitar, by the way. I forgot to because isn't this the first song that is this the first song that you played electric on?
Either this one or Bend.
Oh, yeah.
But this is the first album I've played electric guitar on. I've had this guitar for about a year. I've never had my own electric guitar up until now, and I went big. This is a beautiful Fender Telecaster. I laugh because it's ridiculous. It's I absolutely love it. Her name is Arlene, after my grandma. My grandma had 9 kids in the 50s and drank PBR and had her smokes rolled up in her sleeve. So this guitar felt like an Arlene to me.
Oh, I love that. And I love that every time you're here, it's like you've advanced something. You're still always learning and growing with your music, and I think that's very cool. And it seems like this is one of the latest things.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this guitar. That's the
great.
only thing I brought today. Isn't that weird? And I played piano on the album. I wrote my first song on piano, and Jillian's like, "You're doing it." She just kept encouraging me, so that's on the album as well.
Nice. All right. Well,
All right, Dashboard Dandelion. I was working 8 to 5 the day you came home. He said the baby was 7 months old. First time I saw you, lo and behold, I said this baby is 7 weeks old. You were born less than a season ago. You meant more to me than you'll ever know.
That is Breanne Marie and the Front Porch Sinners live from Studio A, Dashboard Dandelion, which, as I recall, was the first song that you released from the album, right?
Yeah, we looked at all the songs. We had a vote in the studio, and even Rich Mattson weighed in on the vote. It was Rich and Jillian and the band, and we all went around and said, what would you pick as your first, second, or third possible first release? And I was really leaning towards Bend, and I said to Rich, don't you think Bend? Isn't that us? And he goes, no one's heard you play something like Dashboard. Go with Dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, Rich.
And we didn't mention, but you recorded the album at Sparta Sound.
Yeah.
And he engineered that for you.
Yeah, Rich is so great to work with. We worked with him on Juniper and Wildflowers and Tumbleweeds. And it's always a great experience up at Sparta. It's like camp for musicians.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, everybody in the band. And again, Breanne Marie and the Front Porch Sinners will be performing at Sir Ben's tomorrow night at 8 o'clock as part of their album release show for the brand new release, Two Trees. Today's Live from Studio A was produced by me, Christine Dean, with help from Cameron Matthews, John Panzer, and Paul Brown, and funding provided by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. To listen to previous sessions, go to thenorth1033.org and click on Music. This is Live from Studio A on the North 103.3. Thanks for listening.